I'm going to teach you exactly how to retire early. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what you need to think about when it comes to an early retirement. How do you think about investing? How do you think about saving, tax strategy, budgeting, all of that good stuff. I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and I'm a financial planner who helps people create a custom strategy to retire early. So number one, if you want to retire early, here's what to think about. How much do you want to spend when you do retire? Because is that an amount that we're going to plan on for the rest of our life? If you say, I want to be able to spend $8,000 a month, wonderful. But is that going to be every single month throughout retirement? Odds are the answer is no. So it's not about saying, hey, do I have an exact number? No one ever does. But start thinking through, how much would it cost to retire early? Okay, what if we add a new family member? Okay, what if we take more trips? Okay, what if we do want to move homes? Okay, how do you start thinking about retiring earlier? Well, if you save more and invest more, of course you're going to be able to retire earlier from a financial perspective, which very well may be your goal, but your goal, as I see it, shouldn't be that. Your goal should be, how can I optimize my life? And if that means retiring earlier to get out of a bad job, well, then let's do that. If it's to retire early so that you go, you know what, I've saved and invested well, I don't hate my job, I just want to know, when can I be done? When can work be optional? Well, then start to understand, okay, how much do you want to spend in retirement just to meet your basic expenses, and then add some travel? Is there going to be a mortgage in retirement? Really, what are the core expenses in retirement? Which brings me to number two, which is, what assets do we have to make it happen, and where are they? Do we have significant amounts of money in our 401k and IRA and Roth IRA? Wonderful, great job saving and investing. That's not easy to do. However, if you want to retire early, call it age 55 or 50 or even in your late 40s, well, when most people think of an early retirement, just so you know, they're thinking before 65. So if you're thinking even before that, then kudos to you. But think about a retirement that is early like this. Where are assets going to come from? They could come from your Roth IRA or your 401k, but we don't want to pay extra taxes or penalties that are completely unnecessary, which is what exactly would happen if you pulled from those accounts before 59 and a half. Especially your Roth IRA. Many people don't know this. You can always pull your own contributions, no taxes, no penalties, but you don't want to do that. And here's why. Let's assume you put $100,000 into a Roth IRA because you've saved and invested well. Kudos to you. And it's grown and now it's worth $1 million. Well, you can pull your own $100,000 out before age 59 and a half, no taxes, no penalties. Many people don't know that, but you don't want to do that. In fact, I would advise against doing that because you want to pull from that account last. You want that account to grow and compound tax-free as long as possible. So then that brings me to the point of, where are we going to live off of money? How is this going to happen? How are we going to do this? Well, we're going to make sure that we have the right accounts, a brokerage account, cash, a taxable account, which is the same thing as a brokerage account, which just means if you put $100,000 into an account and it grew to $1 million, well, that $100,000, you put that in. So no taxes there. But all of the growth between $100,000 and $1 million, that's $900,000. That would be taxable because you've made money. So it's a good thing, but it's also a good problem in the sense that we got to be intentional around what we're going to do with it so we don't pay any more in taxes than we need to. So number one, how much is it going to cost? Number two is, where are these going to come from and when are we going to start pulling from them? So start thinking about, can you start saving and investing to another account? I would recommend a brokerage account because there's no extra penalties that you really get charged because you want to pull the funds whenever you want. There is nothing you even need to think about with that. Whenever you pull the money, you're going to have to pay taxes on the money you've made, but you're not going to have to pay anything above and beyond that. So what we want to understand is how much should go to a Roth IRA or a 401k and how much should go to a brokerage account. That, once again, completely depends on your individual situation. Number three, are you ready to retire? Meaning, are you ready both financially and emotionally? Do we have a clear understanding of what's it going to cost? Okay, I want to spend $6,000 or $8,000 or $10,000 a month. Wonderful. Once you have that, well, that's almost the easy part. Now it's just, do we have our investments aligned? Are we saving on taxes? Do we have the right insurance coverage? Okay, is there going to be a mortgage? Do we want a second home? Now we're really in dream phase. But above and beyond the dream phase, emotionally, what are you going to do in retirement? Are you saying right now, oh my gosh, Ari, I can't believe you even mentioned that. I have this list of things I'm going to be doing. I've already written it out and I can't wait to start doing it. Well, what I would advise is that you start practicing retirement today, because some of those things on the list, I imagine you want to do, and then you start doing it and you go, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this all the time. I haven't had a chance to do it at all because of work stuff. And now I just want more time, but I don't realistically see myself doing it that often. You might be on the other side of the spectrum going, I cannot wait until I can do all of these things I've been putting off. So number one with this part of, call it tip number 3, is that, okay, once we have a clear understanding of what's it going to cost, what assets do we have to make it happen, where are we going to pull from? Well, now, are you ready to retire financially? Do you have the right procedures in place, I'll call it? And then with that, are you ready? Meaning emotionally, how do you feel? What are you going to be doing? Do you feel, above and beyond anything that I say, that you have comfort, that you have peace of mind, that when you do retire, you don't have to second guess, am I going to run out of money? You don't have to be stingy in retirement because you've gone through a planning projection to understand exactly what it is you can spend and never run out of money. Do we have a clear understanding of the minimum that we know that we need so that we can always spend and meet our goals? And do we have an understanding of the maximum threshold that, hey, if we go above and beyond this, it's okay, but here are the different trade-offs. An advisor like myself should never tell you what to do. My job is to show you the trade-offs. If you spend more, okay, that means these other goals might not be met. Okay, if you save and invest this way, it means you might be able to retire a little earlier. Or it might mean you may be able to do this other goal. So it's all of these different moving pieces. They come together, which is what they should do to create a holistic financial plan. And then tip number 4 to retire early, don't forget the additional considerations. When do you plan on passing away? Which I know, a very dark topic that I don't like bringing up, but it is my job to do so, because if you are planning on passing away in your early 60s, well, although not fun, and of course you don't want to plan on it, so it's a poor way of saying it, but if there's any health considerations or anything going on in that world, well, then the reality is, can you spend more and do more and give more and perhaps retire earlier knowing that? Very well may be the case. If you say, Ari, I'm in good health, I'm not even considering that, well, if you're planning on living until your, call it 90s, well, does that mean we need now to plan for more income? I mean, does that adjust how much we need to be spending? So life expectancy is a big one. Number 2 is tax strategy. Are we looking at our taxes to understand how we can minimize them? Because that's, if not the biggest, one of the biggest expenses you'll have in retirement. Number 3 is when it comes to your investments, how are you allocated? Meaning your allocation might be customized to your goals right now, where you say, hey, I intentionally have this amount in stocks and bonds, and they're talking to each other in this way to create X amount of income. Wonderful. But what if we go through that process and we determine that amount, and you still feel, hey, Ari, I see my account going up and down, and that's not fun. I don't get that sense of comfort that I'm going to be able to not just run out of money, but do what I want to do. Well, if that's the case, then we're missing the whole point here. The point here is, how can you build a really strong foundation that allows you to sleep well at night, but also accomplish your goals? It's not about just one or the other. It really is both. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you don't know, I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and this is what I love doing. I help people create a custom strategy to retire early. You can always reach out to me or a member of our team here at Root, and we would be happy to walk you through our planning process to show you how we can help you get more life out of your money.